Yesterday was a long night for me. I stayed up watching the live stream by OpenAI where they announced GPT-5 and so many other things around it, improvements on voice, etc., etc., etc. Now, the biggest news is GPT-5, obviously. And one thing was itching me. Is GPT-5 really that better than Opus 4.1? So today I want to do my own test. So I'm gonna run 3 tests for you. One to do with coding, one to do with business analytics, and the third is creative writing. One thing also to know that for these tests, I'm gonna use the GPT-5 thinking and I will compare it with Opus 4.1 thinking. I will not use the base GPT-5, but I will also not use the GPT-5 Pro, which I have access to. So I think this is the closest testing that you can do that still is considered a fair kind of competition. So Claude 4.1 thinking versus GPT-5 thinking. And without any further ado, let's jump straight into the tests.
Subscribe to Daddy's channel, The Mic.
So we're gonna start by the coding one, which is basically asking these models to come up with code, which should be an interactive pseudo 3D raycasting maze explorer type of game, I guess, or simulation. And I stress that this shouldn't use any fancy libraries. It should be simple and lightweight to run on Replit. So I'm gonna copy the same prompt, paste it to both models and run it. Once I get the code, I'm gonna run it as it is in Replit so we can all see the outcome from each of these models. And by the way, if you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing to my channel. Hit the like button if you're enjoying this so far. And by the way, all these prompts, if you want to have them, just write me again a comment in the comment section and I'll share the link with everyone and I'll pin that comment so everyone can have these prompts and test it for yourself. So we are at ChatGPT now. Now, if you click this new drop down, much simpler, that has no more all of these cluttered models. We have GPT-5, this is the flagship. We have again more models, which is GPT Thinking, the one I'm selecting, and GPT-5 Pro. I will not go with the Pro and I will not go with the base. I think it's fair to compare the two thinking models against each other. So let me just paste the prompt here and I'll hit go for ChatGPT. I'll go to Claude and here let's select Opus 4.1, which is selected. And then let's go for extended thinking, which is now selected. I'll paste the same prompt and I'll hit go. So let's start with what we got from Claude. So you can see a small map for the maze here, which is really nice. And I can see myself here. If you see that small red arrow, probably for you, you see it as a dot. Let me actually make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, hopefully this is a bit clearer. You can see some information on the top, and then I can use the keyboard to move and turn, and I can hit the wall so I don't go through the wall. Okay, this is me walking, and you can see in the map I can actually, this is not impressive. I think I've done something close to that in the past, and that was with, ironically, with a ChatGPT model, not Claude. But this is solid. I will not continue playing, but you get you get the quality we got from Claude Opus when it comes to this game. It's good, I think, overall. No comments there. Smooth to play. You hit the walls, and honestly, I'm lost. I have to figure it out on the map and then maybe try again. Let me show you what I got from GPT-5 thinking. Okay, so this is how it starts when it comes to the GPT-5 version. And it's all white because I'm hitting the wall. If I turn around, I can start seeing around me. And the graphics are cleaner. Just looking at this is pure HTML, by the way. So I'm asking it to create such a 3D game with pure HTML. In the bottom, this is different. I have some instructions here, okay? And again, you have some information about resolution, raise, and FPS on the top. So let's start to walk. Actually, it's faster, looks different. Both followed the instructions to the T. The graphics are better on the Chat GPT-5 version, and it's more responsive, I would say. Feels like a real game. I would probably slow it. The distances actually are, it feels right. The distances in the game compared to the map. I don't know. I hope it's clear for you, as clear as it's to me here. While playing this game, I will not continue while this is tempting for me to see whatever is there on the other end, but I will not continue. Okay, you know what? I will run more complex code tests because I don't think these two tests that I already run pushed really these models to their limit to really compare. So I try to again work with the models to 5x the challenge and see what we get. So I will run both on the GPT-5 thinking and the Claude 4.1 with thinking turned on, and run the code for you straight so you can see the outcomes of those. So as you can see already, Claude Opus is running. If we go to OpenAI, it's also running as well. It's also working on it. But interestingly, what you see here, what Claude is telling me, that this is kind of a 40 plus hour of traditional dev work compressed into one request. So it is definitely a challenging one. Once both are done, I will run it and we'll see hopefully something more advanced than the original maze we tested. And hopefully this will really tell who's better to a certain extent, at least from my opinion, and you can decide for yourself if you think one is better than the other. Okay, so let me run the Claude Opus first. You can see it is 1,440 lines of code. So let's run it and see what we get with Opus. So it seems there are many different targets. They are moving and I need to go after them. And it seems I'm in a kind of a dark tunnel. It looks less appealing than before. Oh, so it's all shapes in it's all shapes in kind of a dark space. Press space to retry. Okay, so I need to avoid the shapes. Okay, it's becoming like a game. Let me hit one. Is okay. I need to avoid the pink ones, I think. So one of them is just after me. If I go through the red, it's good. Okay, this kind of you can see the pink. I don't know if you can see it here on the screen. It's actually coming after me. And then there's a wall. Okay, I hit the wall, and okay, one of them got me. Okay, it's not visually clear, but if I go closer to the and there's sound there. If I go closer to the shapes, they get bigger, as you can see. And there are other objects that I can go. It's a game. Okay, let me see what GPT-5 gave us. And it has audio and voices and effects. Interesting. So let's go for the GPT-5 version and I'm dead again. Okay, ChatGPT got it with nearly 1,500 lines. So let's run it and see what we get. Okay, this is different. So there's a small map here that you can see. Okay, and now, okay, this is, okay. So the maze is actually developing on the top left on the map. My movement is not as smooth. Okay. They both gave something totally different. So GPT-5 at least gave me a look, and there's based on the prompt, these kind of effects are requested. In Claude, it was a little bit random, but it's weird how, if you notice here, I'm seeing some of the objects through the wall, and if I go closer, I should stop at some moment because this is a wall. Yeah, I hit the wall, but I can still see the object. So this is maybe, not sure. No errors, by the way, came when running this. So it is as developed. It goes for GPT-5. for sure. It goes for GPT-5. Not perfect as an outcome, but still much better. Okay, let me just show you this part here. You see the shadows. There's like shadows, and it has some depth in it. Compared to what I got in Claude. In Claude, I got a completely dark space and me moving around, running from shapes, which was interesting. It was good. This is a little bit better. And again, this is all HTML. Like I'm using only index.html file. So that's it for coding, I think. I would give not a huge advantage, but some advantage, some win for GPT-5 thinking. Now we're going to go for the second test. And this is financial analytics type of test. So I'm going to give both models 3 documents from the Tesla filing, the 8K, 10K, and 10Q files. I will ask the model 3 things to do on high level. One is to extract certain types of information, and then to actually run some calculations. And the third is actually give me some type of analytics and output. And one of those outcomes is 3 things that are not working well for Tesla, 3 things that are working well, and then a kind of forecast and outlook for the company stock prices. And the last one is things Tesla can do for the remaining time in 25 that can bring back $1 billion or more to the operating profit of the company. This is a subjective type of thing. I'm gonna read it. I will give you my opinion. I will not waste your time reading it. Again, if you want all of these things, especially the prompts and maybe the long text responses for the Tesla stock analysis, I can give it all to everyone through a Google document. Just write me a comment in the comment section. So let's start with GPT-5 thinking and run the prompt. And then let's go to Claude Opus 4.1 thinking and let's run the prompt. And I got the error, your message will exceed the maximum image count for this chat. Try uploading 3 documents with fewer pages, removing images, or starting a new conversation. This by itself gets Claude to lose, honestly, the challenge in my eyes. What I will do, I'll try to remove one of the documents, try again. If it doesn't work, I will remove one more, try again. This prompt is actually explicitly asking these models not to go to the internet. So it needs these forms. So this is the 10K, I'm going to leave it. This is the 8K, so let me remove it first. Actually, let me remove the 10Q and try to run. Didn't work. Let me remove this is the 8K. So it only was able to work with one of them. Now let's look here. Okay, so even we had a hiccup with the ChatGPT version. So I gave it the 3 PDFs. And what it's telling me, I see only the 10Q with quarterly and year-to-date data. And the 10K without item 8 financials. Could you provide the original 2024 form 10K item 8 that includes the consolidated statement operations? Okay, so it seems these documents are big, but still GPT-5 didn't fail. It's just asking me that it doesn't have enough information. I'm telling it don't go to the internet. So I'm just telling it again, these are the attachments, work with what you have. I uploaded them again to ChatGPT-5. I don't know if that will kill it or it will actually be able to work with it. And it's reading the documents now. So Claude gave the answer. Okay, let me show you just a glance of what I got from Claude. So both of them insisted on getting the actual PNL. The PNL, the document is 140 pages. Claude can't handle that. I keep giving it to Claude, it rejects it. Now I gave it to OpenAI and ChatGPT-5 and it took it and it's analyzing it based on whatever I could fit for Claude, which is this limitation is stopping the model from really shining or having a chance against GPT-5 here. It still delivered. It gave me some explanation of the bear case and the bull case and some logic behind it. And then the KPIs that will be bearish and bullish for 25. Operator action, things that will bring 1 billion without revenue margins baseline. So basically it's saying I cannot give you something significant here without the information. The model couldn't take the information. If energy maintains 113% growth, unassumed 5 billion base, 5.6 billion incremental revenue at 25% margin is basically 1.4 billion contribution. If vehicle costs drop additional $2,000 on 2 million units while maintaining price. This equals 4 billion margin improvements. So honestly, this is interesting. Based on the limited information it had, I wouldn't trust it a lot. Again, it couldn't take significant information. It was limited by the capacity of the model to take in information. Let's go to OpenAI, just take a look. It's done. It thought for 5 minutes, and just by a glance, I can tell this is better quality. Again, the model was able to deal with much more data all at once, something that Anthropic and Claude is not even close to do. And I think this is kind of an Achilles heel for Claude. Everyone knows that fact, and it's limiting the model. So let's see. It started by the extraction phase, which again is one of the phases in the prompt I asked for. So it's looking at different years. You can see 2022, 23, 24. Revenues, gross profit, R&D, SG&A, restructuring and other, and then income from operations. And if we toggle to the right, we can see other things as well. Interest income, interest expenses, other income. Okay, so it broke down the whole P&L in a very simple and concise table. And then it went to the revenue by segment source. So it's breaking down, it's analyzing the number here now. Automotive sales, and then regulatory credits, automotive leasing, energy generation, services, and then the total revenues, okay? And clearly labeled items affecting compatibility. It's going into the details, and it went directly into the calculation. And interestingly, it's using the same kind of annotation I put in the prompt, like these are the things I want you to do. So now it's breaking down the formulas and doing the math for me. So these are the results by percentage, year-over-year growth, gross margin, operating margin, and net margin. Segment diagnosis, I will not read the whole thing. I'll just tell you my opinion at the end. It's telling me also the positives, the concerns, the bear and bull kind of argument, and then it's going for the most important thing for me, which is the operator actions. Scale energy throughput, target 2 billion incremental energy revenue in 2025, using the first half of 2025 energy gross margin of 29.6% at a proxy added gross profit of 2,000 multiplied by 29.6% equals 592. If OPEX held flat, operating income lifts by around 0.59 billion. And here again, you have the file referenced. Titan operating cost cut 5% from 2024 R&D plus SG&A base of 9,690 million, I guess. Savings will be around 485 million, fully assertive to operating income. Combining uplift of both of these actions will be around $1.1 billion. This is, if you go through it step by step, and by the way, it's concise, it's not going on and on about the breakdown. The problem is it's definitely a better answer. GPT-5 wins here, but I cannot tell it won before its better analytical capability or because it got the needed information that Opus 4.1 couldn't handle. But still, I'm gonna give this one to GPT-5, honestly. So no more excuses, Opus, on the limitation in the window and the ability to continually talk to the model and deal with such big documents. This is a class A, quick consultant report that we got on a Fortune 100 company like Tesla, one of the biggest companies in the world. So let's go for the third and final test. Okay, so this is me asking the models to write a short story with all tricks in writing such a story. So you can see here example of the prompt. The first letters of the 10 sentences must form the acrostic, the word, model, words, and then use exactly 2 of the rhetorical devices. So these are just names they mentioned to be used as devices. Include the idioms, elephant in the room, and break the ice literally as physical objects in actions. Sentence 5 must be exactly 12 words. Sentence 7 must be with question mark. Maintain a corporate, surgical, slightly eerie tone. Avoid horror cliches. Deliverable is the output. So it's giving very specific requirement for these micro stories, as those are called in the prompt. So let me hit for GPT-5 thinking, and let me hit go for Opus 4.1 with thinking as well. So we got an answer from Claude. Let me see what I got out of ChatGPT. Maybe in this one, I overestimated my capability of reviewing this kind of test, especially it's in English, not my native language. But again, I could put together in my mind, to a certain extent, the story I got from GPT-5. And you can read it for yourself again. And if you want all of that text, just write me a comment in the comment section. I'll just pin it in one of the comments, and I'll put the stories for you. The one I got from Anthropic, notwithstanding that it had terms I've never read before and I struggled to read, but it didn't make sense, even if I understood them. This paragraph, to a certain extent, I would say 70% made sense to me while I'm reading it. And I got the play in the words that the model did to put the micro story and all the constraints I gave it. Actually, looking at all of the tests, this is a 3-0 for OpenAI ChatGPT 5 thinking. So regardless if this is the type of testing you like or not, there's so many ways to test these models. Evaluations are not the only way. This is some test I put together just to share with you. This is the kind of thing I play with when I'm alone, trying to test these models, and I wanted to share the same with you. I, again, never make my own verdict too soon. I wait and I see what others do, what others build, and at some point, tides might shift. We've seen this before. You're gonna get something really soon, really good from Anthropic, from Google. It's a cycle. These companies are at war with each other. But as of today, and for now, in my opinion, what everyone is saying on X, that GPT-5 probably is the best when it comes to coding and reasoning, I think that's true from what I've sensed today with these tests. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you're not a subscriber, share it with friends, and with this, thank you for watching and goodbye.
Subscribe to Daddy's channel. Give me the mic.